retailing. Well, without further ado, I'm very happy to introduce Yanik Hoyles.
Thank you, Perry. Hi, everybody. Do you mind if I stand up?
Please.
Thank you. So, I'm going to take you through who's actually heard me speak before. Who was here last year? That's a very small minority. So, sorry, I'm going to have to go through the basics once again. But a lot of it's about education. But before, I want to take you through the journey, particularly over the last 12 months, because things are really progressing in this journey for our airline members to move towards retailing, looking at other retailing techniques from other industries where you could agree today we're a bit behind. And I'll explain why. So let's just start by saying, what's the problem today? I got a little clicker problem. There we go. Whoa. That clicker's too sensitive. So, if you look at the problem today from a customer point of view, from a travel agent point of view, from an airline point of view, if you're a customer, and you're all customers, when you search for travel, you say when you shop for travel, it's kind of clunky, isn't it? Statistics say that you have to go through 20 to 25 websites to get the right kind of information. And that is because, depending on where you shop for travel, the information available is very inconsistent. I can see a few nods, so I'm kind of on the right track here. But a second thing that kind of substantiates this problem, look at it from the travel agent side. What we hear from travel agents, and we've done this in reports, we spend all our time engaging with the travel agent community, they say that to serve our customers, too often we do not have the right information in hand in our current tools. And for example, we have to go to airline websites to get information. So it means you can't deliver a proper customer service, and from a productivity point of view, it's very clunky once again. It's not a good process. And there's a lot of information also, or products that can be available on the airline website that's not available through the travel agent pipe. So here again, there's a challenge. And I see a few nods here as well. And then on the airline side, well, everyone's got the same problem, is that the airlines today, from a technical point of view, they do not have the capability to demonstrate the value of what they have to offer, particularly when selling through travel agents. They're commoditized. They haven't got that agility to push out through the travel agent channel what they can actually do on their website. So this creates a gap between the two channels, and the consequence is that everyone has a bad experience, and worse is for the customer who's at the end of the chain. Let me give you a couple of examples. Look, today, well, I did this yesterday, I believe. Typical website, flights from Geneva to London. Here's what you get. I click on two airlines here, British Airways, EasyJet. Can you see if there's a difference? Is there a bag included? Is there not a bag included? You can't. Another example for a long-haul flight. This is another online travel agent. This is a flight to San Francisco. Here again, first click. You click on a bit more detail. Here we go. You're going to spend 11 hours on the flight. And this is all you get. So it's certainly not very rich and very informative other than the schedule, the flight and the price. Now, let me carry on. This was customers. Now let me talk about travel agents. You know the travel, you've heard of the cryptic green screen, right? This is still the core tool travel agents say they use today. When a travel agent has a request from a customer to go, say, from Geneva to New York, it starts with a availability request. Look at what booking classes are open. Based on that, they'll then go and have another look at another screen that gives you all the different fares. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with this. F is what? What is F? First class. Right. J is? There you go. And then you've got AY. Y is? Now, can you see the difference in legroom between Y, J and F? So this is what travel agents say today. These things really works well in a commoditized environment. But when the customer says, so what's the seat pitch? What services do I get? Too often they've got to go to their own website. So even for the agents, it's not good. Now, if you lift yourself a little bit, look at what's happening around us. Now, I'm taking a big jump high here. Look at the big picture. Because things are changing real fast. Whether it's society or politics. You know, there's loads of things happening across the world. Look at technologies. no one will deny that the speed at which technology is evolving is accelerating all the time. And finally, economy and environment. I mean, you guys are all over this. There's another half day tomorrow on environment. This is so important. And it's driving changes in customer behaviour. So all this to say that there's lots of things happening very, very fast. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to adapt to the way the customer behaviours are changing, what their expectations are. And at the end of the day, the customer's going to say, look, if you want to engage me to sell something, you have to be transparent, demonstrate the value, and be where I am. So what do I mean by be where I am? Well, it's today. Most of the sales take place face-to-face or on desktop. Yeah? But more and more, just as an example, this is going to accelerate. You're going to have more and more mobile. Mobile's increasing drastically. Voice, your chatbots. If you go back to the example I gave earlier of a Google search, Google is fantastic at getting loads of information in a very short amount of time. But when you shop for a trip, for example, on your mobile, if someone says to you, Yanik, I'm really pleased, in 1/10 of a second I found 1.6 million options to get from Geneva to New York. I said, wait a minute, I don't want to scroll through that. What I want is relevant offers. So it's really important that in this world, our industry has the agility, the ability to adapt to customer behaviours, customer expectations, particularly when it comes to distributing and making your products available to the consumer. Now, the good news is that things are starting to change already. This is Click Travel, a UK business travel agent, looking for a flight here from Geneva to Heathrow. You click on this flight, this is a BA example. You can see here, you don't have to see the detail, but there's detail, well, there's rich information about what you've got here. It says, right now, you've got Economy Plus, right, for a certain price at 164. However, if you see value in something a bit better, you might want to upsell. You might want to pay more to get more. Or, if you see no value in this and you want to pay for less because you value something that's less expensive, then you've got the choice. So this is a concrete example of moving from commodity-based selling to value-based selling, which is what we call retailing, and ultimately it puts control in the hands of the customer. Another example.
This was a dummy you made that. Not a real one.
It is a real one.
It is a real one.
Absolutely. They're based in Birmingham.
We'll have time for questions afterwards, Malcolm.
This is all real. But no, thanks for the point, it's important. It's all real, it's Click Travel based in Birmingham, there you go. This is Caravello. This is a startup who won one of our first hackathons, who deliver chatbots. And they work with Finnair in this journey to retailing to make chatbot technology available for them. Expanding reach, another example of Finnair, have embraced retailing all the way here. You can see this is mobile. In China, a very, very fast moving market, all the way from selecting the offer, confirming the order, passenger information, and paying with WeChat Pay. Payment is more and more important in this world of retailing. How many of you, when you've been shopping on a website, when you get to the point of payment, oof, complicated, trust it, I've got the log on, oh, I haven't got that kind of payment method. More and more you're going to find out that airlines, when they think about the value to the customer, they're going to think also about payment being part of the product. Yeah? Because the smoother experience, the easier people will buy as well. And again, it's be where I am as a customer. If I shop in this way through a mobile and I pay with WeChat, then you've got to make me be able to pay with WeChat. Don't tell me how to do business, otherwise I'll go away. Another example. This is a startup called Airline Technology, embracing this new research technology, and they built an aggregator that takes content here, for example, from British Airways, American Lufthansa, and they are comparing what we call rich content. It's not just a flight with a price, but it's a bit like when you buy a smartphone. Yeah, you've got different components, and based on that, you can make whatever decision you want as a customer, based on what you value. Last example. I don't want to give you too many because you haven't got that much time, but it's important. You can see through all the way from leisure. This is business travel. This was, I think this was announced this summer. United Airlines and Trip Actions, a new business travel agent. Anyone here from the US? Are you familiar with Trip Actions?
Yes.
Okay? So Trip Actions, they're about 4 years old. They just got 300 million funding 5 months ago, and they're valued at $4 billion. And their position say, we want to enter the world of business travel, looking at everything from the lens of the customer, making things customer friendly. They are displaying the first bundles offered by United Airlines in this new world of retailing. Bundles for corporates, for business travel. So here again you can see the options. You click on one, you can see what's included, and if you want you can sell up. Ultimately you can sell down as well. But more control and transparency in the hand of the customer. And the last example with Trip Actions United is this seat map. Seat maps exist today on green screens, but this is pretty cool because you can see what you bought, what you might trade up to, and it's a nice visual. It's just kind of agility and better transparency of the product. So all this I've just shown you, this is real. And this is driven by NDC. You've all heard of NDC. Who's not heard of new distribution capability? Why are you laughing?
Hammering NDC on us since years.
Exactly. And you've seen, things are starting to move. So seriously, who does not know what NDC is? Okay, it's one or two. I'm available after this if you want a one-to-one. But in a nutshell, you tell me if I'm consistent in my explanations here, right? NDC, it's all about helping solve this problem of the gap I explained at the beginning, where airlines on their websites are much more agile in how they can make their fares, their products, available to customers. They're agile in the sense that on their websites they can really differentiate the product. On their websites, if there's a new product, they get it out to market on their website real fast. And also, if the customer chooses to be identified, on the website they can tell them what they're entitled to, and maybe or maybe not a special offer. But through the travel agent channel, because the plumbing's old, it's not changed in the last 40 years, it's not designed to push anything more than just availability. Are there any seats, yes or no? And this gap has grown quite significantly, which leads to frustration. On the customer side, again, because it's inconsistent when you shop for travel on the leisure side, and even in business, they find it very frustrating. So that's the problem, and the NDC standard is said to help close this gap. So the NDC standard, that's what new distribution capability is about. It's a standard based on modern technology versus the one that's 40 years old, for communication of data between airlines and travel agents. And if they want, they can have an intermediary in the middle that can be an aggregator. That's all this is about, using modern technology, and by that way, it means the airlines can push out to travel agents the similar features and agility as they can do on their website. So another way of saying it is that this NDC standard is all about enabling the airlines to have the capability to better sell through travel agents. That's what this is about. So that's back onto what it is, and all you've seen is NDC starting to come to life. Now there's a lot more stuff happening in the background. I'll tell you one more second. Before, you made me move into NDC faster than I wanted to, you see? But just before that, I want to give you the big picture of what we do. You can see I've been talking a lot about the customer. The customer's in the middle of two programs, particularly in the scope of our distributions, which is NDC and One Order. I'll explain to you the background of NDC in a couple of slides. I'll give you a bit more information on One Order, because that's a massive customer improvement as well. But the kind of cycle we go through is, you start on the right with enhanced distribution, which is really powered by NDC. This is about the airlines having the capability to do everything I've been talking about, to deliver some of the things you've just seen. But once the airlines have got that modern technology, they use the standard, it's all in place, they need to be able to build offers, these bundles, make offers relevant to customers. So this is what we call this dynamic offer capability. Then if you go around, there'll be a point, and this is where One Order comes in, where, because we've got such an archaic set of artifacts, PNRs, tickets, CMDs, there'll be a point where this will be a limit to how much airlines can offer to their customers, because these artifacts will not be able to cope. So we have to look at simplifying fulfillment. And finally, I talked about payment. I say payment's more and more part of the scope of distribution because it's so important being part of the product for the customer. Now let me zoom back into NDC real quick. Last year, do you remember this leaderboard slide? Okay, probably. That shows it. Well, at least you remember. Okay. So this is a year and a half ago. It's just about 2 years now, maybe 2 years ago. We said, right, we've made good progress on the standard of NDC. How can we start getting to some critical mass? So we said, right, rather than work with 300 airlines at a time, which is very heavy to move, let's see if we can work with a small group of airlines who are really committed, want to lead this, and put their hand up and say, yes, I'm leading this, and this is this group of airlines. They weigh about 30% of IATA passenger volume. So we said, right, this leaderboard, it's representative enough. So what these airlines have committed to is that by end of 2020, they will have at least 20% of their travel agent sales coming from an NDC plug, powered by NDC. The experts either direct to a travel agent or via an aggregator if they want. 20% by end of 2020. Now, this is not just for them. Because to get to 20%, and this is already what's happening, they're working with the value chain. They're working with the 3 GDSs, Amadeus, Sabre, Travelport, and even Travel Sky are fully embarked on this journey now. They're working damn hard to become aggregators in this new environment. All the travel agents, the business travel agents, I'm sure you've heard people like AMSGBT, CWT, BCD, Agencia, they're all working on pilots around NDC. And so is some of the Expedia recently announced some connections to the Lufthansa Group. So the whole value chain, including the corporate buyer community. You know the corporate buyers? Any corporate, I don't know, some of you from big companies where you have a travel manager, they're the ones who will decide which airlines will we partner with. So in other words, they have the money. And we work a lot with the buyers because they're the customer as well of the airline, as well as their travellers. And all this value chain is working together towards this 20% target. So everyone's focused to crack the problems. The challenges to adoption are twofold. One is commercial, and that's not something IATA gets involved in, but there are some money flows involved that need to be resolved. And also technical. So by working together, the whole value chain, to get this 20%, they're going to crack these two problems. Which means that for the followers, access to this new ecosystem, because the environment will be much more mature, it'll be faster and more cost-effective for the followers. So it's a real win-win on both sides. So where are we on this journey? Here's a 20% curve. We got our October numbers a few weeks ago. Unfortunately for you, we'll have our November numbers next week. But October numbers, we already exceeded our target for 2019, which was 8%. So there's some very, very good traction here. A lot more work still needs to be done, particularly in the area of business travel. But there's definitely some strong momentum, and we're running ahead of our target, which is great news, again, for the whole value chain working together. Now, I'm going to talk about One Order. Who's familiar with One Order? Okay, right. So, One Order. So, just let me give you a bit of background. Okay. A few people are, no doubt. Now, which ones of you have flown here today? Who's flown here? Okay, good. Now, did you all get an e-ticket receipt in some shape or form when you, yeah? Good. On your e-ticket receipt, did you have like a booking reference, an airline booking reference, an e-ticket number? Yeah, okay. This is really, user-friendly, isn't it? So, when you checked in, it happens to me, I travel a lot. When I check in, I always use the wrong reference number, then they say use the e-ticket number, then they say there's a synchronization problem. But this is the way our industry works. Let me explain it to you. You've got two references today in our industry, yeah? Booking, electronic ticket. A booking is 6 characters. It's proof of a reservation that's been made. It's just proof a reservation's been made. And then there's the electronic ticket. That's proof that you actually paid for what you reserved. Right? Now here you can see, sorry, I said electronic ticket, but this is a paper ticket. But it doesn't matter. Do you know why? Because when we did electronic ticket, yeah, it was a huge upheaval. But all we did was electronize a paper process. Let's see if you know it here. We didn't change the process. So when you've got a paper ticket, electronic ticket, it's still as cumbersome in the background. So, there's a lot of legacy here. And by the way, so when you make a booking for a flight, you've got your PIN, you've got your e-ticket, and, whoops, there's a third reference down here. An EMD, who knows what an EMD is? Okay, go ahead. It is an electronic miscellaneous document. Okay, let me give you in simple terms. It's in case you buy a bag or a seat, you know, you pay for a bag or a seat on the flight. They can't include it on the ticket to show you paid on the ticket. They have to do another document called an EMD that proves you've paid for that extra bag. So you've got 3 documents. So one, when you want to change something, how often have you been to an airline counter and said, oh, sorry, sir, I can't access that PNR, that system. Oh, sorry, your e-ticket's desynchronized. Happens. And then if there's an involuntary disruption, then to rebook, change someone, you've got to resynchronize all this. Oh, it's just not simple. You know, if only it was just like one reference. Why couldn't we have one single reference, whether it's just your reservation, your booking, for your seat, for your flight, just one single reference and say, in this, for this order, 1, 2, 3, I've got a flight from Geneva to Heathrow, I've got a priority pass at Geneva Airport, and I've got lounge access at Geneva Airport. One document, that's all. And you know what? This ain't very different than if you go to Amazon and buy something. You've got one order, you can view, you can change, you can update, but it's one single reference. And that's what one order is about. It's about saying, why do we need to have PNRs, EMDs, electronic tickets? Why can't we just have a single order, just like any other retailing business? So in a nutshell, one order is about one reference, so that the communication between the airlines, the travel agents and other suppliers is much slicker. Second, it means that you're really moving to the world of digital. You've got an order just like any retailer, as I said. And also as a detail, you can even track the real-time consumption of products as well, which from a business travel side is very useful. And finally, so beyond the simplicity of having one single order, from a customer point of view, it also means that our industry will be able to interoperate much easier with other businesses. Because again, it's the agility of an order versus an e-ticket, a PNR or an EMD. So the journey to one order started a few years after NDC, but it's going very well. We've got 20 certified players. This year our goal was to have 5 order management system providers certified. There are 9. So that's great interest from the IT provider, technology providers in that area. And it wasn't on our plan, but we had 2 airlines, Lufthansa and China 7, who were certified as airlines one order as well. So it's a very complementary journey to the NDC journey, and potentially, well, at the end for the customer, it will make life a lot simpler, both in terms of normal operations as well as in case of disruptions. Does that help a bit for one order? Yeah? Gives you an idea? So moving to just a one single reference, just like in any retailing business. So, whoopsie daisy. I want to share with you a piece of work we did because it was important for us to just get a feeling for what the value of all this could be. And we asked McKinsey to do a piece of work, and I'm going to share with you their findings. They did quite some thorough work on this. And their view, they said, well, look, let's look at retailing in the context of NDC, one order, and dynamic offers. So it's kind of the stuff I've been talking to you about. And they see actually that by 2030, this would generate up to 40 billion annual value creation for the industry. And within that, they say that clearly part of this benefit is that it's because the customers have much more control, much more transparency of what they may or may not want to purchase. In other words, they can buy based on what they value, not based on what's put in front of them. So this kind of gives us a good steer as to the value at the end, and it really means that we're behind this with lots of different levers to get to this, but it means there's some value potentially for everybody because this is all about putting the customer more in control tomorrow than they are today. And on that note, that is it.
Right. Thank you very much, Yanik. Do we have some questions? I see one.